Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another live AMA hosted by Cointelegraph. My name is Gareth Jenkinson, and I'm the head of multimedia here at Cointelegraph. Our guest today is ASTER, a next generation decentralized exchange that combines perpetual and spot trading in a single on chain venue. The exchange positions itself as a DEX built for real traders. And with us is Leonard, the CEO of ASTER. Thanks for joining us today, Leonard. How are you? How's Korea treating you this afternoon?
Thank you, Gareth. Well, the weather is great, and it's been a crazy few days. We have had our TGE, and I think a lot of people heard about us because of it. It's been incredibly successful. It's gone well. We expect it to go well, but then obviously not at this scale. And I think like in the first 24 hours, we had like 350 million traded just on our spot. We were we were the second listing on our own spot market, and it just took off. More than 300,000 wallets newly registered with us. That number is quite incredible by itself. I don't like a lot of the apps even wouldn't even get that lifetime number. So uh, we're incredibly excited about this. Yesterday, not just not n- yesterday, our trading volume just reached 3 billion. It's like an all-time high. So like everything is going well. It but like we will discuss more about the number and what that means later. But I think um one of the things that probably everybody has been like talking or hearing about us is like how well our price has been doing. I think because of that, that creates this chain reaction that kind of cascade through the entire perp dex vertical. And I think it's a good thing. It's like generating a lot of noise for our industry, and I think is pushing the boundaries for of what like decentralized trading could be. Our competitors later they even listed us on their exchange, and like we will soon list them as well. Just to return the gesture, to make it more fun in the space, to get people talking. But I think all that great result behind, I think overall the team is incredibly humbled by how well the market has responded to us, like in terms of price action. I think um token price, like whether you like it or not, shows expectation. Is probably the most democratic way of like showing what you expect from the project. So people obviously expect a lot from us, and it is on us now to deliver like result, product, service to our community that would fulfill that expectation. So we're working around the clock. I have had like probably like 3 hours of sleep every night for the last 4 days, just so that we can like, accelerate that timeline because um, we know that people are waiting.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I can imagine the days and weeks after a TGE are just crazy. And yeah, sleep is hard to come by. It's like having a baby. I had twins, so I know what it's like to not sleep for a long period of time. So yeah, I hope that you do catch up some sleep in the next few weeks. And of course, if you are just joining us for this live stream, we're chatting to Asta and their CEO Leonard about their token generation event that happened on BNB chain last week. And like you mentioned very briefly, they hit some major milestones in 24 hours, roughly $350 million traded in ASTER USDT, over 300,000 new wallets connected. So by all accounts, a very successful launch. Let's start with the bigger picture here, Leonard. Over the past few years, we've seen a lot of traders move on chain in response to some centralized exchange failures and perhaps some of the shortcomings of the nature of centralized order books and centralized exchanges. At the same time, they still demand the same quality of execution and tools that they're getting in traditional finance. In your mind, is there any specific reason why traders are shifting to decentralized exchanges, on-chain venues, and how does Asta aim to meet those expectations?
Mm. I think like I'm incredibly biased because like I'm working in this space, so I truly believe DEX will be the future and it will get bigger than all the sex. But I think first, I think you mentioned like some like in the past in the last bear cycle, the failure of some of the more prominent uh like sex, namely FTX. I think that has make people push people to seek transparency, verifiability, and self custody. Right. That's I think the most basic demand. And like the risk of using sex are pushing people to look for safer alternatives, basically. So more and more people are going into that direction. And I think on the other hand, like the DEX experience has improved so much. Like uh Esther has been around for a long time. Like we like when we first started, uh like we were called Apollo X. Like and but we one of our competitor UIDX, like I remember when I was test like using the product, right, it took like 8 seconds to like to finalize the trade, and that's you can't like after testing that you immediately you go back to this like trading on the sex because the experience was just not comparable. Fast forward 3 years later, like if you trade on any of like trade on Aster, right, like you probably couldn't tell the difference. Like there's a like after you have connected, after you deposited, like if you're familiar with like how to operate with a wallet, then the rest of the experience, like in terms of liquidity, in terms of speed of execution, like is matching or even exceeding what you're seeing now in most of the sex. So I think that also kind of encourage more user to move to sex. And Esther obviously is what one of the better choice, um, and we also because I think we were matching the experience, right? But then at the same time, we are also offering something more. Like Dex is a lot more flexible in introducing new type of assets. Like for example, if you look at Esther, like we have like FX, we have stock, and recently we have partnered with Four to provide liquidity of high quality, fair launch, early stage project. And what that kind of changed is how asset is being introduced on chain, being generated on chain, and sometimes it breaks the value chain of like what traditional crypto value generation look like. Right, it used to be VC would be invest and then they get on sex and then like retail come last. Now, like for example, if you look at our recent launch with the Four credit link, like it's a fair launch. Immediately you get like liquidity on like a DEX order book like us, and retail get in early, so they were able to capture that value like in the early stage, not at the last stage. Like if you look at credit link, it went up by like more than 10 times. And I think that was because well, retail can get in early with lower valuation. The price discovery happen when the retail users are part of that, are there. So I think that also make it more lucrative to trade on DEX, and I think that that eventually result in more users like now like become like a DEX native trader instead of like using sex nowadays. So
Yeah.
I guess these are the reasons.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. I mean, when you think about decentralized exchanges, you think about democratizing access to these assets, and I think that that has been a big pain point for retail, crypto investors for a very long time. You can go to a centralized exchange. Yes, the trading experience is great, but you might not necessarily have access to a lot of these different assets or projects or companies. And that script is very much being flipped now, and dexes like Aster and other dexes will give you access to some of these projects that you would just never have access to before. So I really like the points you make there. I think one of the other pain points that you often hear about in the industry is like an invisible tax, front running, slippage, hidden costs. Can you explain a little bit about how this actually manifests in practice, and how, for example, Aster approaches these pain points in the industry?
Mm. Just so like for the audience that are not familiar with those terms, like front running means like other bots, traders, like they capture they capture extra value by uh trading before you do. Like so they get a signal like that you want to trade and place their order ahead of you, so that they can capture the price difference. Slippage. So when liquidity is not good enough, is insufficient, then the actual execution price ends up worse than expected. So for those, I think like Aster is unique in a way that we try to we try to preserve trade privacy while providing transparency of blockchain. So I think for a lot of decks, like everything is out there, right? They put all their trade information on chain so that like your position exposed, and sometimes you will get what we call liquidation hunt, so people know like where you get liquidate, where what price you would get liquidate, and try to push the price to that point. Esther, first we have hidden order type called hidden order. So if you place an order with the hidden order type, then nobody would see it. It wouldn't show up on the order book. It wouldn't signal other player in the market that you're making that trade. So you're protected. You can execute your trade in private without signaling everyone. And also, I think like we are going to roll out our own blockchain L1 as well. It's in the process of like like we're internal testing it. But the way that we design it, we want to preserve trade privacy while providing trade verifiability. So you can verify a trade, but other people can't see exactly what that position is. So like we kind of try to gives that like creators product that could have the best of both worlds. And I think last, like when it comes to slippage, the ultimate solution is to get your liquidity uh, in place. So I think Esther has one of the best liquidity right now in all decks. Like you can check it out. Like we our liquidity is probably better than like most of the decks and comparable to like the top tier ones like Binance. So like trading on us would pretty much guarantee one of the lowest slippage across not just stacks but also like in the sector.
I really like that privacy solution, and it immediately made me think of James Wynn, who was he got liquidated a number of times, and a lot of people were saying, I mean, even Adam Back, the big Bitcoin OGs, like stop trading on Hyperliquid. People can see your trade. What do you expect? You're going to get shaken out of this market if you're putting such big trades openly on the market and everyone can see what you're doing. I mean. Maybe you should do some sort of an advertising campaign with him, because I think that kind of solves that problem. Am I right? Am I reading that right?
Yes, I think that's a problem that we want to address. Like, it's interesting how you mentioned James. Like, I think we interacted with him like on the social, and then I think one of the things that like he was asking for when he got liquidated on his like fair famous $1 billion positions, like there should be some like trade privacy, and I think that's one of the things that inspired us to uh, pursue this solution.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think it makes sense. That's for me. As soon as you mentioned that, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Big whales that are wanting to uh, trade how they want to trade, and do it with some sort of privacy, and not let the market move against them because they can see what they're doing. Definitely ticks a box. Um, let's talk about the momentum behind the TGE. Right, there was a huge amount of demand. What does that signal about the current market environment, especially if you look at centralized exchanges versus dexes, and for me as a journalist and someone who's covering this industry every day, it really does seem like a lot more people are turning to dexes, Hyperliquid, all the other big dexes out there, as an alternative. Did you experience the same thing in the wake of the TGE for Asta?
I think it's obvious after the TGE, like I said, like there's a lot of noise, like a lot of interest around perp decks. Trading volume and user growth on us, at least, far exceeded expectation. This is very strong, I think market signal that the market is shifting from just purely speculating on like prep dex token to actually real trading demand on decentralized infrastructure. Uh, Again, like I think Dex will be bigger than Sex, and Aster, we want to be like a leader in that market. We want to provide not just perp like futures. Like I think our vision is to provide decentralized, uh, like platform that provide access to all kind of financial product to everyone in the world. It should be permissionless. It should be decentralized, um, and like not just infrastructure. I think more specifically, along with that infrastructure, we want to provide the best trading liquidity as well. So, like to everyone that wants to trade anything, we hope one day that well us we will become the like we will be bigger than any of the decks. The entire dex industry will be bigger than the sex, and we as a dex will be bigger than the biggest decks that we see today, like Binance. So like we hope like even though they're our investor, we hope one day we can beat them.
It's good to have ambitious goals for sure, and I think towards the end of the AMA, you can tell us a little bit about your history at Binance and maybe some lessons and those kind of things that you took from CZ. Just a reminder to you, if you're
Mm.
watching this live stream, you're welcome to drop your questions in the comments, and we'll try and pose some of those to Leonard. I can already see quite a few coming through actually, and some people asking about the buybacks, Leonard. So we'll get to that towards the end of the AMA, but please keep them coming through. We will ask a few questions at the end. Let's talk about some products and features now. So onto the platform itself, you've introduced dual trading modes to fit different user needs. Can you walk us through the 1001X and perpetual and what kind of trader each of these is designed for?
Okay, we have two very distinct product. One is called Promo, like perpetual is a perpetual on the top menu. We also call it Promo. Basically, it's what we call an order book. I is what traditional centralized exchange offers mostly. Most of them like so. Uh, I think I, I wouldn't go deep dive into how that works, but order book model basically require liquidities to provide a good trading experience. But once you achieve that liquidity, you have a lot more flexibility in how you trade. It enables more advanced trading type, numerical stop loss, like take profit, like iceberg, like pulse only, like many types. So it is for more experienced trader and for traders that like probably come like from like a centralized exchange background. There's no migrating costs. Like we if like we probably match or exceed that like smoothness and execution like experience. So but like if you look at Aster in specific, we a little like our product is a little bit different in way like compared to other decks in a way that we support multi-chain, multi-asset. So like we are probably the decks that support the widest range of collateralized asset. So which means that whatever you have in your wallet, right, you can like utilize that, deposit into S3 and use that as collateral to trade. We have the lowest fee, like probably like we have the lower fee than all sex, and probably like and if I remember correctly, the lowest like if not the lowest, one of the lowest fee across all dexes. And we were one of the first DAX to offer earned products. So for those who like who want to enjoy some yield while they trade, to juice up the return, like we have ASBNB, we have USDF, and we plan to introduce more like earned product so that it kind of provide like baseline yield for all our traders. Like USDF can go up to like 10% yield. ASBNB can go up to like almost like 18, 20 in good times. So it becomes like it adds up over time. That's perpetual. That's promo. We have what we call 1001x. Like, it's because the leverage that you can achieve with this. It's what we also call it the simple mode because it's a simple one click on chain solution. So for this product, is entirely on chain, meaning every single transaction is being executed on a smart contract. It's verifiable. You do have to pay a little bit more gas fee, but like if that is your gig, then like you we have that product for you. So unlike an order book, the price is determined by an oracle, which means that like is more temper resistant. So like it adds a layer of robustness for this particular product. And because of the nature of how liquidity is being provided in this product, so there's like what we call it like LPs, the liquidity providers token. So these are people who have deposit to provide liquidity. Uh, in our case, it's called ALP, has been providing pretty consistent yield over the last like year or so. Is like upwards of like a double digit return. In terms of APY. But on the other hand, if you place an order, you're getting that liquidity from like all those liquidity LP tokens depositor. Um, what that allows is like it allows us to put in more like high leverage into the system, so you can trade like up to 1,000 times leverage if that is what you prefer. Of course, do you like have appropriate risk management when you trade like that, but we do provide an option for you to do that. And like because like we have more flexibility in how we in what kind of asset we provide for the simple mall. So you can see that we have forex, we have we have stock also available with very high leverage. So if you want to try new things like with a little bit more leverage, then the 1001x, the simple mode, would be the product for you. Just like so, we have everything. Like most other decks, either they have the order book or they have the liquidity, like the LP like AMM mode. We have both. So you like whatever your preference is, you can always find something on Aster that fits your need.
Fantastic. Let's talk about some of these milestones that you mentioned earlier around the TGE, like massive wallet growth over, 300,000 wallets, really strong trading volumes. Do those in your mind kind of validate the, product design and the roadmap that you set out?
Um, I think obviously it does. I think the rapid wallet growth is a testimony of like what we have built, what the industry have built so far up to this point. Um, I think it is a recognition of our product's core value. The open interest, which means like people that are holding the contracts on our platform, has increased, like has tripled. That also indicates that it's healthy trading volume. It's not just people like coming to Wall Street to just to farm our token. So like there are real trading demand like that are growing now in on us and on the overall DEX industry. Uh, I think for us, like I think first it kind of is a report card on like what we have done so far, like everything that we have done before the TGE, the airdrop. I think like the market has approved of how we execute all those, and I think following up after the first successful airdrop and a incredibly successful TG, uh, we have decided that the Aster Genesis Stage 2, we will probably end it a little bit early this time to reward people who actually traded with us early. So we will end the stage two on October 5th. So there will like we had two epochs, like 2 weeks have been going on since like we start the stage two, and we'll have 2 weeks more, and we are like allocating a quite generous amount of token for this stage to kind of like thank all the early traders and kind of celebrate all the success. We're allocating a total of 4% of the total Aster supply for the entire stage two. So for those who are trading with us, who traded early, I hope that that kind of reward your loyalty with us. Stage three will kick off uh, right after stage two. The reason we kind of wanted to do this at this time point is at this time is because we in stage three we will start to include spot trading as well in our like point calculations. Okay, we kind of have to accelerate that because of the incredible successful TGE, and our spot market has now become one of the hottest product uh, in the entire industry. So we want that to be included in our future airdrop. So season two, season three, stage two, stage three coming up. So for those who have been training on us, stay tuned. We're also adding more token utility. So like with all this airdrop, right? With all this like expected value that creating all this positive price action on Aster token, uh, we have a set of plans to make sure that uh, we can fulfill that price expectation, right? So we're adding there will be a lot of new use cases that will be rolling out in the coming weeks. Some of the common ones that you can see on like centralized exchange, including like you can use it as fee for discount trading on us. Like you can stick it and get a higher VIP level on a DEX level after staking. You're gonna get reward and also you can participate in the governance of the platform. We are rolling out the L1 that we mentioned, the privacy preserved L1. Um, and we are trying to build this partner with multiple wallets. So we're working with Trust Wallet for an integration. So in the future, we hope that like you cannot just access Aster liquidity on our front end. Like you can use access it like anytime, anywhere from any of our partners across the world. We're expanding our earn and trade capability. So we cannot talk too much about that because that's still in the making. But then that's also an area that we want to focus on because that has been our strength. We were one of the first to do it, and we were one of the best of doing it by providing the best yield. Um, Back to our core, we want more trading pairs, higher liquidity, uh, like more leverage options, and more asset, like we mentioned previously, more innovative asset. The asset they're unique, they're not available on other platforms. We want to bring that to Aster and make it tradable, make it accessible for everyone.
Fantastic. I mean that really does sound like a full suite, and if anyone out there is curious, they definitely need to go and check Asta out. You can go and find their X handle and definitely go and check out what they're offering. I mean, let's talk about what the industry is offering, right? Like the deck space is becoming increasingly competitive. There are projects that are experimenting with different models of liquidity, privacy, execution. You guys are no different. From your vantage point, how does Asta differentiate itself from existing players like Hyperliquid? I mean, I would say they're the big dog with the small team that they have. What they've done in a fairly short amount of time is pretty crazy. But yeah, how do you see the landscape overall, Hyperliquid and some of these other perpetuals focused dexes?
Um, Before I answer that question, we get compared with Hyperliquid a lot, and rightfully so. They're a great team. Uh, I think we were, if not as good as, we're as good as them, if not better. Uh, they are a great competitor, and I think to push the industry forward, we need more teams, more talent in the field. But I think like before we try to compete with each other, like we have to look at the bigger picture. Right? Dex is gonna be bigger. It, it's gonna be the future. It's more likely that we're gonna win users from sex And it's more likely that when a new user is introduced to trading, they would pick DEX over SEX. That's at least what we want to achieve and what we think we're achieving right now. So I think the market is big enough to have multiple perp decks uh, or multiple decks. I don't, and I think trend I see is that I don't think there will be like traditional perp decks anymore. Everyone, like after seeing Aster's success, will also offer a spot product, making it like I don't think we should be called perp decks vertical anymore. We should be called like I don't know, like new decks or order book decks. Like we're just like a decentralized trading platform. But yeah, I think going back to the point, the market's big enough to have different DEX trading platform with different design philosophy. Like we took a different approach to designing this infrastructure. We can talk about that more later, like how we're different from them. But then, um, yeah, I think it's just like early days of centralized exchange. There are multiple player who eventually survive and find their own niche. Uh, I think like that's the case. We obviously pick the design philosophy that we think that can make us the biggest, and only time will tell where we will be the biggest or like is other decks. But I think yes, like we uh we will I think so, actually I would probably prefer like people to compare us maybe to like finance, like because that is a bigger goal. That is where we want to eventually get to. um but I think for us, like how are we different? I think first like we have a different approach. Like Hyperliquid wants to build an ecosystem, like their own L1, and it focuses a lot on like building, like letting other developers build on their own L1. Instead, I think we want to integrate into other ecosystem. We like the first obvious thing is that we support multi-chain, right? BNB, Ethereum, Solana, Arbitrum. We're working with Four to launch a pre-launch token. So we're working with Well Liquidity Finance to provide USD1 trading pairs. So we are like, instead of asking other people to integrate into us, we are more active integrating with others. I would say that's like one of the different. Um, so I don't think it's that much about surpassing each other, but I think that competition is healthy, and like like having all this great platform competing actually create interest in the industry. I think like when hype lists us, like there was a lot of people talking about it, like now I can sort Esther on hype. Like I think like we're gonna list them as well. Like we're gonna list them with like 300 like 300 type leverage, just to like create like make it a little bit of fun. Like make everybody um so if people want to like trade Hyperliquid with 300x, they can come and do it with us. But I think yeah, I think overall the focus should be how we can grow bigger as an industry. But obviously we're not. I think if you put us side to side with any other crypto I think Esther still have one of the best product uh, that are comparable, if not better than anyone.
Okay, so let's say I'm someone who's never traded on a perps dex. What are some of the most important factors that I should consider or evaluate when I'm looking when I'm trying to decide whether it's going to be on Aster or Hyperliquid?
Well, I think first, security. I think that's one of the things that people should be looking at: smart contract audits, fund protection, and risk management. I think uh, Perpdex is perpetual is a very risky business, right? There's multiple, not just like hacks on like that you can steal fund from. There can be liquidity attacks that would leave user at a loss. I think we have seen that with other decks. Um, Aster has been around for 3 years. Like we managed to survive. I think it's also a testimony to like our a relatively conservative approach to uh, risk. We were very careful with it. We probably have one of the strictest limit at high leverage when it comes to DEX. And like sometimes it causes inconvenience to some of the traders. Like they need like multiple orders to get to the position that they want to, but then it also was the like is the reason why we're still around like after 3 years. We were one of the best risk controlled perp decks out there. I think execution quality, liquidity depth, slippage, latency. We talked about that previously. Uh, Esther has one of the best across like the entire perp dex industry. Uh, I think in terms of user experience, how easily you can use the product. I think Esther has the advantage of supporting multi-chain natively, so you don't have to like bridge across different chain to in order to get like to start trading. I think that's a really good advantage. You don't have to exchange into USDC in order to trade. You can just deposit whatever you have, and then you can start trading. The ease of use, the low cost of migration, I think is also one of the uh, thing that people should be looking for, and Esther is good at. Another trend I think like you can see that is like everybody is providing yield either through their own LP product or like you can see a trend of like projects offering um, projects offering stablecoin. Like I think there's a lot of discussion on other platforms that uh, on a proposal to do that. We have been doing it for like 2 years, so we have one of the best track record on doing that. So if you, well, if you're picking one, I think there are just like all these reasons that why you should pick Esther over any other sex and Dex.
Beautiful. Leonard, I have so many people pinging me in the chat box. I think your phone is sitting next to your laptop or something like that. But if you can remove it, they can hear the
Yeah,
notifications and they keep telling me to answer my phone. It's not my phone, guys. Leonard is just that busy after the TGE. That's what that is.
yep, you
Okay.
can
Um,
hear it.
yeah. You're a busy man. It's okay. You see, chat, we can have fun. We can have fun. You guys can tell us what's annoying you, and we'll fix it. I promise. Let's talk team and resources before we answer a few questions because everyone is also pinging me about the buybacks. They want to know about that. But let's talk about your team and your resources. You bring a lot of experience from major exchanges and financial institutions. How's that helped you build what you've gotten to today? And can you tell us a little bit about your past as well?
Mm. Well, I think a lot of our team are considered crypto OGs, like which means we probably are old enough to have been through multiple, like more than one cycles. So we know the importance on risk management. I think that it's kind of like we have lost enough money, crypto to have that embedded in our mind. Like always have to risk control. We always have to protect our fund. Uh, when I was working in TradFi, I used to work in banks. I was building like risk engines for like a global market equity trading. So the number one rules I think in our team is always like make sure the funds are saved, and the project can survive and weather through like any winters. Also, I think like myself, I worked in like one of like some of the bigger sects out there. The team has a lot of experience running and building centralized exchange that give us the ability, the imagination, I think, to re-engineer the entire experience using the decentralized infrastructure. I think the like with the innate knowledge of how things work in sex is give us the ability basically to redo it on chain. But I would say like none of that prepared us well for the last few days. I think um, like how quickly we have gained traction, like with like you can see I'm sorry that like that phone was annoying everyone. Like that has been the case for the last 4 days, and that's why I think at the beginning I mentioned like the entire team was like up at night making sure that like things are going well, fixing all the problems. And yeah, like I just can't thank them enough. They've been working around the clock to resolve all the technical issues coming from this traffic. And we were doing that because we don't want to disappoint users. Right? Users like have like vote with their money, like and we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to fulfill that expectation. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, it's getting a little bit emotional, but uh, yeah, I really want to like thank the team, and I want the user that's like listening to the podcast to though that we're doing all our best to 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 deliver on that promise. We're a veteran team. We've been around for like 3 years, so we're not going anywhere. And we're going to deliver more and more innovative products that can and hopefully even push the Esther to greater heights.
Yeah, look, I'm just going to say congratulations because I think most people in the industry don't actually know how stressful these situations are, and if you've been in any of them, whether it's dealing with a bad security incident or just a TGE, and your exchange or your platform is incredibly successful, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. Millions of hundreds of millions of dollars of trading volume, loads and loads of users, lots of people having lots of questions. So I take my hat off to you. Um,
Mm.
uh, I know you've already mentioned quite a few of these milestones, so I'm just going to mention them very quickly before we pop up a few questions from the live stream comments box because people have been begging for it. So Aster's Genesis Stage 2 is going to end at 23:59 on October 5th. With 2 epochs left, users can still trade and earn those RH points. That's 4% of the total Aster supply allocated for stage 2 rewards. And then stage 3 is kicking off right after that. And if you want more details, you can, of course, go back and listen to Leonard talking about what they've got coming up in the next weeks and months. But yeah, I think the biggest question that I'm seeing in the chat is the buybacks. Tell us about the buybacks. Is that going to happen? Do you have any plans for that?
Yeah, we were still designing the buyback mechanism. It's definitely in the books. I think one of the most direct way of giving back that capturing that value and giving it back to a token holder is buyback. We haven't decided on how that will work and what the exact percentage is. We know there's a lot of expectation around that because you see our competitor has a really aggressive buyback percentage. Uh, we will reference to that, but we will also consider like what would be the best for the long term sustainability of that of the project. I think there's been question about like whether like doing 100% or 99% buyback is sustainable in the long term, like because project has to reinvest some of its value into like building new products. So I think I don't want to give any numbers in this today, because but I
Mm.
think I hope the community understands that and have some confidence that we were trying to balance out the long term sustainability of the project with the ability to channel back that income, channel back that value that we capture back to our token holders. It's definitely in the books. I think it will be announced in the upcoming weeks, and just I just ask everybody to be a little patient while we determine what would be the best. And if the successful TGE is any indication, I think we will be able to provide a design that would generate similar success.
Yeah, I'm also seeing a lot of questions here for a Binance listing. Is that on the timeline or any significant listings that you can talk about?
I would I would argue that we're doing pretty well even without the listing. So like we are definitely in talks with Binance, right? And I think there's a high chance that we might get listed there. I again I actually I would I would think that at this point we are like a Binance listing, there's probably it's not as I would say not as valuable, or not I wouldn't say, because I think when we talk to other projects, like we eventually want to like dethrone like all the sex, right? Like in the future people should be asking like when projects are going to get listed on Aster. I think but obviously we're not at that stage yet. We want to eventually get there. And Binance listing is like it is in our plan. So, but we can't disclose when exactly that would happen, because we're still in negotiation with the Binance team. But yeah, that's all I can tell. But I hope one day people would come and ask like when is this project going to be get listed on Aster, instead of asking when is it going to be listed on Binance.
Yeah. You know how it goes. The Binance effect in this industry is very, very real. So I'm not surprised.
Mm.
All your users in the chat are asking about that. I also saw another question there. Why are you using Pyth over Chainlink? I think that's wrong. The price feeds are sourced from both Pyth, Chainlink, and Binance Oracle. Is that correct?
We actually source from multiple sources. We source from Binance, we source from Pyth. But yeah, I think we're open to integrate with more Oracle, and obviously the more Oracle we have, the more robust our price would be. But there's also a cost that is associated with it. Right now, I think so far we haven't had any problem with it. But then over time, I think as we grow bigger, we will integrate more Oracles.
Beautiful. All right, I've read through the chat. I'm sure people are going to continue shouting at me, so I'm going to stop there. Thank you so much for dropping your questions in for Leonard, and getting to the crux of what you want to know about Aster. Leonard, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us. By all accounts, I think you guys have enjoyed some great success already. If not giving you a few more gray hairs than you probably had a week ago. But welcome to the show. I guess that's just crypto in general. If there's anything else, where can people find you on social media? Where can they find more news about Aster, and any upcoming news about the DEX?
So for ongoing updates, make sure you follow at ASTER DEX on X, ASTERDX. Me myself, I'm Leonard underscore Aster. So you can follow me. That's where we will be announcing all of our updates.
Fantastic. Leonard, once again, thank you so much for your time. Good luck to you and the Aster team. It was great to catch up and chat about the TGE. We'll be watching with keen interest and see where your token ends up next. I think you gave us a few little hints of what might be coming in the pipeline. But once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching this live stream, AMA with Cointelegraph. Thanks again to Leonard and the team, and to everyone in the audience for joining. We'll catch you again next time. Goodbye, and have a great day.